Hey everybody, I'm Tommy, and you were on the Love Boat. How you been? Let me just go on the record and say that there's nothing wrong with chicken nuggets for breakfast. I'm just saying. Lisa Trimble, Kristen Melinda, Timothy Glass, Sandy Wandy. What's happening, peoples? Jane Aldrich will be here shortly. There she is. I knew you were here. Kevin Hawthorne, Lakeland, Florida. What's happening, brother? Glad that you are here. So the question today is probably pointed more at me. I'll tell you what, people, I'm in the land of where I ought to be. I'm not exactly sure if that sounded lyrical, but I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And good things are happening in my life. AVAC, good to see you. There, nevertheless, are things that that tag along, and you find yourself journaling about them constantly. And it got me thinking, because recently we've been hearing a lot living down here about the seasons of your life. It is a recurring theme that people talk about constantly. Linda, good to see you. Glad that you're here. It's something that comes up a lot, probably because most of us are in that the fourth quarter of the game, maybe still in the third quarter. I don't know. I suppose theoretically I could still be in the third quarter, but a lot of people come to Ecuador to retire. They come to Ecuador to live off the pension of the money that they spent, the times that they spent. I'm laughing because I'll tell you what, I'm having a good time doing this. I wasn't thinking about this at all when I started this show, but I'm having a pretty good time doing this. And it's funny because I've been talking about getting back to the roots of the things that I do, and looking out in the morning and seeing 17 people in a live chat pretty much gets right back to the roots of this channel. There are, and I can live with it. I never had more fun. I never did more good. I really didn't. There was a period of time for about 2.5 years, I think, where we did about 15 people in every live feed, and this was an effective channel. We got a hell of a lot done. I felt pretty good about myself. I'll take it. What's going on in your life? Are you in a season that makes you happy? Because I'll tell you something, very often we drag crap from our past into our present, and we destroy the season that we're in today because of a season that happened a while ago. And it's something that all of us are guilty of, but it's something that I struggle with more than anybody. My brother's talked about it a lot. I've talked about it a lot. Everybody gets it to some degree, but it's imposter syndrome. Very often it happens when you get a job and people start telling you how fantastic that you're doing, and you're realizing that, you know what, you're probably not up to the task. Yet you're early enough on in the game where you're still killing it, and there are still people that are saying really nice things about you. If you do what I do, it's way worse. It's way worse. I get really beautiful emails of people that tell me that I'm doing great stuff, and I just have a lot of baggage. Everybody has a lot of baggage. I don't remember who I'm ripping off right now. I really don't. And it bums me out when I do that. But the problem is that I sat down and saw thousands of public speakers. I read just about every self-help book you possibly could. I don't want to credit the wrong person. I'm almost 100% sure that this is Anthony Robbins. But if it's not, then I feel like a jackwagon. If not, someone will correct me. But Tony Robbins, if I'm not mistaken, used to talk about the 3 P's that keep you from getting where you're supposed to be. These are self-limiting things that we do vis-a-vis bumps in the road, right? Things that we do when things don't go well. When we have things that bother us, something comes up in our lives that rocks the boat. Something happens in your life that shakes your faith, not necessarily in God, but in yourself. And a lot of times we drag that baggage around, and it becomes a part of us. So he says there are 3 things that you got to eliminate if that's going to happen. If you're going to have happiness, and if you're going to be able to continue on in the seasons of your life, and not necessarily just me dying, but I mean, there are times where, I mean, you can stay married, not get divorced, and you can still have a different season in your life. Maybe you still are with the same person, but things really rocked. We tend to think of season changing as something that happens when something really crappy happens in our life. You know, it was like, oh, right after this happened, everything changed. It can happen on the fly. We came down here for a very different purpose than we're doing now. You owe me one? Is that what this is? Because I did this the other day. I don't know if you remember. You guys can't hear it, but Johnny Scoville is doing everything he can Distract me. He knows I'm not.
You did me today.
I know, it was terrible, wasn't it? No, I really did it bad the other day. But I'm not firing on all cylinders, and this is something that's been going on for days. Hello, Barbara Wade. Good to see you. If you have a problem, if you have something that you can't seem to climb over, there are 3 P's. Go ahead.
I'll solve
it. If there's a problem, I'll solve it. He just hit me with a Vanilla Ice reference. It is far too early in the morning, Johnny Scoville, for a Vanilla Ice reference. If there's a problem, having any of these 3 limiting P's, these P's so you know what? If you're sitting there with a journal in front of you, you should probably bust it open and get out a pen. That's right, I said it. And you should write in your journal these 3 things, because if you go back and read this over and over again, it'll change your friggin' life. If you have a problem currently in your life, no matter what it is, pick one. It could be a problem from the past, it could be a problem that you're going through right now, but we tend to do 3 things. And one of them is we think that these problems are permanent. Something happened to us when we were 16 that was just so damn awful, or something happened to us at 27 that was just so damn awful that we end up, word to your mother, Johnny, we end up thinking that our position, our feeling, our emotion, everything that's going on because of this issue is permanent. And again, I think it was Tony Robbins. I'm not 100% sure, but if it's Tony Robbins that does this presentation the first time, he says, nothing is permanent but your soul. Except we start hitching things to our soul that are far, fleeting things that we end up hooking up to take with us for the duration of this trip. It's a pretty terrifying concept, but we do it. We start to begin to feel like, you know what? Nothing's ever going to change. See, we think that any problem that's rocking the boat is a permanent cancer to this entity, right? This is a permanent screw up. I'm never going to be able to be the person I want to be on account of all of this crap that happened to me. Nothing's permanent. Your soul is. I talk about forgiveness. We talk about setting down the bag. It doesn't just have to apply to forgiveness. You understand this? There are times that if you're not able to realize that we live in a moment and a lifetime, if you're 73 years old, you got a stink load of moments that you remember really well. None of them are permanent. Tomorrow isn't here, right? We live right now. What happened yesterday, all of our problems, the only reason our problems are here tomorrow morning is because we choose to make them permanent. We choose to carry them with us forever. And if you make your problems permanent, your life is going to suck. And you know what? They're not pervasive. You can put that down for the second P. They're not pervasive. So I hate my job. If you hate your job and it's causing you to treat your children wrong, there's something really bad going on in your life. You need to get your feces together. If what's going on in your job is keeping you from having a relationship with a higher power, you're a screw up. Sorry, but you are. None of these things should pervade the rest of your life. I'm not saying that you have to compartmentalize everything in your life, but you know what? You should probably compartmentalize everything in your life. Your job is your job. It's supposed to put food on the table. It's supposed to make sure that you're comfortable and you have the ability to make plans and, have that legal tender so that you can do things and that you maybe can eliminate a problem from your life. Like Forrest Gump says, well, that's good. One less thing to worry about. Money is not a really big deal unless you don't have any of it. But every one of these things ought to be compartmentalized. If you're allowing your job to become your life, that's a problem. I have taken a lot more time off from the boat of late, and I apologize for that. But I'm not in a great place. And unfortunately, one of the things that I do is I allow this to pervade every other part of my life. And the crazy thing is, there was a time where it was the lifeboat started as the lifeboat. And when it was early on in the game, I allowed that to be my entire existence, every bit of it. And it almost killed me. And I backed off. And when I came back, I did it very differently. And it has gone through about 3 or 4 different phases. In the second phase of the boat, what was driving me insane was the people that hated me. It was one of those things that kept me up at night. Because I'll be really honest with you, I don't think I'm all that hateable. I mean, they didn't know me when. If you knew me when, I'm a really easy cat to hate. But to know me now, I just don't get it. And it was something that I spent way too much time talking about. And that problem became pervasive. Everything in my life was being affected by this crap. And I'm sorry, but this should be a job. This should be, to some degree, a job. What I do at that rehab center has nothing to do with the job. You get that? Nothing. I don't make money over there. Quite the opposite. But it's unbelievable how much I let that hate get into my entire life. Pervasive, write that down. Problems shouldn't be. We can't allow them to be pervasive. So I got a problem going on YouTube. If that allows, if that's causing me to not sleep well, or if that's causing me to do any of these things, and by the way, that's not where I'm at these days. I really did stop. What was the term? I heard somebody say the other day and I loved it. I fired my haters. I fired them. Like the head haters. I just said, yeah, you're fired. I don't really need your services anymore. I'm sure they're still doing stuff. But I really have now gotten to the point where I'm excellent at isolating myself and not paying attention to one word of it or one sound of it. And that takes years. Even when you make the decision to not do it, it takes years because there are just so many people that want to reach out and help and tell you what so-and-so said. And it takes 2 or 3 years to pare down a group of people small enough that they understand. But I did that. Now, this is affecting my life again. Crazy thing is, this time it's not coming from the people that I'm working with to try to help them get sober. I fixed that problem. It's not coming from haters. I fixed that problem. This is completely unique. You would think that with the things that we're doing, we wouldn't get much pushback. We're getting pushback, and we're getting it from the weirdest of places. Yeah. Every once in a while, if you shine a wicked bright light, you'll be really surprised what scurries off and goes underneath cabinets. The last thing. What did we say? It's not permanent. It's not pervasive. Oh, before I do, though. Fat Santa. Hello, Fat Santa. I don't know that I've ever said hello to you. Have I? Somebody help me. Have I ever said hello? Do you know the name Fat Santa? I've heard of Fat Santa. Fat Santa, welcome to the party. What's that? I know a Fat Santa, but I don't think that. Tommy Scoville says he knows a Fat Santa. Do you know what we did yesterday, since there's a decent number of people here right now? We went and watched whales. Huh? We went whale watching. You have any idea how much fun that is? Was that sick or what? Crazy. First of all, when you go out to this one particular place, and I'll say it like they say it, and then when they hear you say it, they say you say it wrong. Chocolateria. How'd I do? Pretty good. All right. So it kind of, the reason they say that is when you see the white foam come in and hammer the side of that beach, it will actually foam up every once in a while and it starts looking like the top of a cappuccino. But we went out there yesterday to clean out our dome, and there's something ridiculous about watching 60 or 70, big, huge whales jumping at any, like they're popping everywhere. It's like watching fireworks. It's hard to film, but if you're just looking at it, from, stem to stern, from side to side, from east to west, you just watch them jump. There are so many of them there. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'll tell you what, it's good for the soul. Absolutely good for the soul. If you guys haven't seen it, go over to Johnny Scoville's channel. He's got a lot of he's got a lot of shorts and stuff over there about it. He'll probably talk about it today too, I would imagine. It was wild. It really was. We're going back. Every time the sun comes out, we're going to take you guys places in Ecuador. It's not like we got here and went, we're not going anywhere in Ecuador. It's just that you would not believe the weather. It's Wendy, it was beautiful. Absolutely. And you can see the videos of it. Johnny's going to be going live right after me, and you guys can check it out, some of the other videos, and hear more of the story behind it. But it's, it's breathtaking. All right, so the last P, are we ready? I had to stall a little there, Johnny Scoville. You know how it works. The last P is personal. F my life, right? One of my favorite expressions for 3 decades on planet Earth. What a beautiful thing to say, right? And I mean, look, I don't have to take 100% credit. That's a prison thing. It's something that prisoners, what's that? Yeah, well, it's a huge thing inside. And my brother says I did it before prison, but I very well may have. I very well may have. Did I do it before jail? No. Okay. Getting locked up for a long time. Been a long time since I have, but I definitely used to. Avac says, Johnny, my man, I'll be watching. You really should. Yeah, God's creations are beautiful. And there's something very, very humbling about it. You know, the sea in general there's something very humbling about it. You look out at all that water and you start feeling smaller. It's like looking at stars at night, you know, where you just go, wow, I don't feel particularly significant. You are, by the way. You're more impressive than the cosmos. I didn't say that, but I got a friend that did. Anyway, it's not personal. None of these things are personal. And we start to tend to think that we're a lightning arrestor. We're a lightning rod for everything crappy that's going to happen on planet Earth, which is why I used to say, F my life. But the funny thing is, I'd say it when I dropped my keys. That's worthy, right? On that scale of 1 to 10, that's up there, right? What are you complaining about? What are you putting at a 9 on that scale? Because I'll tell you, those P's start to go tat, 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 like dominoes. Perspective wouldn't be another bad one. Take all of the crap that's going on in your life and put it into perspective. Some of the things that we hear people complain about, and I'm not trying to be a jackwagon, but there was a individual, and I don't mind telling this story because it was literally years ago now, but one of the first people that I had on the boat was talking to me about the inability to get sober, and their poison was alcohol. And they started to talk to me about the things that they had endured in their life, only they didn't tell me what it was that they endured in their life. They just told me that there were all of these horrific things that had happened to them when they were younger and all of these rotten. And then one day the person reached out to me with a voice as opposed to sending emails and such. And I had a conversation to find out that the driving catalyst behind this person's alcoholism was a stolen car. I'm not joking. This person's car was stolen when they were like 19, but it was stolen by somebody they knew. And the car got trashed before the person, I hope this person still doesn't watch The Lifeboat, by the way. The car was trashed prior to, I'm not giving any names. I'm not giving any names. The car got destroyed before it was insured. And I'm not exaggerating. This person wrote off decades of their life, pissed off about a stolen car. It became pervasive, went through every aspect of her life, right? She had the inability to put this into perspective. And the younger you are, smaller problems look a whole hell of a lot bigger. The older you get, big problems, and you go, nah. By the time you're closing in on 60, the really huge ones have probably come and gone. I mean, those problems that just seemed like they were beyond anyone's help, even the big guy, those problems happen when you're younger. And it's not that the problems are bigger, we're dumb, right? The younger we are, honestly, I mean, I'm sorry, but wisdom, there's a hell of a lot of it that comes with age. I was talking to a friend of mine last night, actually, and I was talking about my son, and I was comparing my relationship with my son to my relationship with my father. And it occurred to me that when I leave this planet, my son's going to say, you know, my dad never gave me a bad piece of advice. His bank robber father never gave him a bad piece of advice. It's very easy when you're not personally involved in any of the problems that you have, right? It's so easy to give advice. And I'm honestly, I used to think my dad was the smartest man on earth, but it hit me like a ton of bricks last night. He had just made every mistake. By the time my dad was giving me advice, all of those mistakes I was heading headlong into, he had done them years ago. Investing in this, investing in that, right? I'm going to go try this thing. This seems like a great idea. My dad he'd seen it all. Over the course of 50 or 60 years, you've probably been to an Amway meeting or two, right? You've probably seen multi-level marketing. There's a kid that's going to hear about it today for the first time, and they're going to think they found the Holy Grail. They didn't. But they're going to go home to a father and tell their father that he's an idiot because this is the way to make money. People aren't, parents aren't the wisest things on planet Earth. They've just been around longer. On the perspective scale, where's your problem? How big is it? I'm bad at this. I'll be honest with you, I'm bad at all of these. One of the reasons that I'm talking about this today is I'm struggling massively with all kinds of things that are going on in my life. And the crazy thing is, there's not a chemical to be found that I have an issue with anywhere on planet Earth anymore. Man, I thought when I got off of all of that stuff, it would be easy. I'm more right with God than I've ever been. Since being born, I promise you, I spend more time talking to God and doing the right thing than I ever have in my life. Not that doing the right thing is essential, but boy, it feels good when you're doing the right thing. It honestly does. Doesn't solve the problems either, though. It doesn't. I think they're part of this game. They're absolutely a part of this game. So what I'm doing is I'm connecting a little bit more. And I know that there are probably 40 people that have reached out to me at one time or another and said, man, I'm here. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. I'm never going to do that again. And I don't want this to ever hurt anybody's feelings, but it's kind of an important thing that this is understood. What I do is the hardest gig on planet Earth, and it's absolutely pointless. I'm not being disrespectful. I love that we have a community here. I love that we've pulled it together. But the one person that will get screwed in this equation, I'm not being a jerk. If I have a 5, people go, you don't talk about your 5 anymore, because I can't have a 5. It's not realistic. And if that doesn't make sense to you, you haven't watched this show very long. I have a very different setup these days, but it requires a completely, it's a retooling of who I am. It requires different kinds of journaling. It requires different kinds of, you know, those release valves, like when steam goes blowing off. I have a very different release valve than I've ever had before. And I have to. I live in a completely different world, and I'm not talking about Ecuador. But my life changed about 6 or 7 months ago, and I'm the most guarded man on planet Earth. And I probably will remain that way. I'm fighting really hard not to be. Johnny Scoville's not bad. He's fairly guarded. He's fairly guarded. Here's the thing. I got my teeth kicked in. And I know that there are a bunch of people who are going to watch this and go, oh, I know exactly who kicked his teeth in. I got my teeth kicked in by 3,500 people. True story. The ironic thing is only one person knew the story. But 999 of them think they know the story. I'm not bringing this up because this is affecting my life. It's not. But it changed on a dime. Do you understand? It absolutely changed, and I mean that fast. And it had to. What I do opens me up to use the world as a therapy session, right? If you're going to teach people how you get sober, you absolutely have to show people the things that you struggle through and you do things like that. And you help people. You send emails out if you can, and you try to answer and respond to people if there's something that you can do to help somebody in their walk. The problem is that inevitably it becomes a bit of a give and take. You go see a therapist, you don't say to a therapist, hey, let me help you with your problems, right? The therapist would go, no, it's not appropriate. But if you do this for 3 or 4 years, about 2 to 3 years in, you'll realize that you probably shouldn't have been talking to anybody you're talking to. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody that reaches out to me. I love you guys. But you kind of got to understand that if you do this for a living, you get up every morning and go, so let's see if any of my friends decided to make a video about something that I texted them 3 years ago or 6 years ago or 7 years ago. Remember the video I did where I said there is power in not giving a crap anymore? I'm totally cool with 35 subs. Drag up whatever the hell you want from 1977 or from 1985, or this is who I am right now in this minute at this moment. And I'm comfortable as hell with this cat. I really am. But I have to retool the entire business, right? That's kind of part of this. I wish I had a 5. I wish I could fire off and make phone calls to 5 different people whenever I felt like there was something going on in my life. But that's not a realistic thing. It is. I shouldn't say that. It is. But it isn't what it used to be. I used to work with people within the framework of what I do on YouTube constantly. Constantly. But the first one that decides that you didn't get to them quick enough in the comment section, or the first one that decides that you didn't highlight a comment that you really should have, or you missed an email, or you did something that really angers that person, they'll make a video about you and claim that they watched you beat puppies and kittens to death with a baseball bat. And you know what? Ain't a damn thing you can do about it. I have a very different setup and a very different system. It also requires me
to take the whale from here.
Nice. Like Johnny Scoville just saw a whale off the starboard bow. No, that would be the port bow. What's that? And he's got it on video. So from the balcony, you can tell you're from the balcony, obviously.
You can see it from here.
How far out is it? Is it toward Chocolateria or toward St. Helena? That away. Okay. All right, people. Johnny Scoville's whale watching from the balcony. Well, it's about time. Use that thing for something. Sorry, people. You rent the balcony. The rest of the place is free. Listen, if it sounds like I'm being a buzzkill, I'm not. I'm not. It's like listening to that Stairway to Heaven song, the one you're not supposed to play in guitar shops. You get toward the end and it just seems like it's getting nastier and nastier. But I got some good news. Honestly, I've got some good news. Setting down the bag of crap doesn't have to be forgiveness. Do you understand? Setting down the bag of crap. There are seasons in our life. And I'll tell you something. I loved the season of my life where I interacted with every single person on the boat. It was the coolest thing that I ever did in my life. I don't even regret it. I really don't. I don't regret it. It made me a different person. It kept me in this game when if it had been any other thing that I was doing, I would have quit. I'd been like, what the hell? No chance I'm doing this. I'm putting up with this for what? Look, I'm not trying to pull the curtain back or anything else, but killing it. When YouTube was killing it, I think the biggest monthly check I made was about 10 grand, which is a lot of money on YouTube. It was a lot of money on YouTube, but I was making way more than that selling watches. This was a labor of love and was always supposed to be. Lisa Tribble says, y'all need some binoculars. Johnny's got this this camera that has like a terabyte of memory. I'm not even being funny. And I think it can focus in like, I don't want to misquote it. It's ridiculous. Like we can look inside boats with it. And I say to him all the time, you know that there's somebody out there with the same camera and they're watching everything we're doing in our house. We're a little high off the ground, but if you're out far enough, you definitely can get a look at it. The good news is this. The good news is you can set the bag down no matter what the bag is. The good news is that the next phase of your life just might be the best phase of your life. Statistically speaking, the older you get, the more satisfaction there is in life. Try explaining that to somebody, especially at the hump, especially at that like 45-year age where you're like, crap, all my good years are behind me. I got news for you. They weren't that good. Yeah, mine were worse. I mean, I was doing really stupid stuff, and I also went all over the world. I also did a lot of really cool things. I just ran way too hot and way too fast and did every bad mistake you could make. But I'll tell you something, people. There was a time in my life where I would run this 30 minutes because another 30 minutes because I have a lot to talk about. But I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of want to see whales off my balcony. I really do. I will be live tonight. I think I found a newfound freedom this morning. Got up very, very early. Was having coffee and talking with Johnny Scoville, and we're well, you know what? Come back tonight and I'll explain the entire thing. Don't miss tonight's show. Tonight's going to be a good one, but I'm not going to miss the whales. I'm Tommy. Between now and the next time I see you, do me a favor. Put a little love in your heart. I apologize for the 30-minute show, but it's whales, people. How many times am I going to get a chance to see this from my balcony? God bless. We'll see you on the next one. Love ya. Bye-bye.